Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gaming News, where we discuss everything within the video gaming industry. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about Artesian Builds, which we covered last week, and then we are going to talk a little bit about Twitch and something that happened. Now, there are a number of other topics that I certainly could have covered in today's video, but in efforts to try and reduce the time to record these videos, I decided I would reduce what kind of content I provide. There are other news topics that I can certainly cover, and I might do in a future video just to make sure that all of the relevant information is out there. So if you find something that you would like me to elaborate on, please let me know in Discord or through the Patreon comments or through Twitter, and I would be more than happy to look up the topic and do some research and do up some more videos for you in that way. So, with that said, let's get started with our first topic. We have Artesian Builds, of course, in the news once again because of the fallout from last week. So, if you didn't watch last week's video, the summary is that a streamer by the name of Kiapiaa, a lovely lady, entered a giveaway that Artesian Builds does every single month. And the terms of entry was to put their banner, logo, and such on your stream, and that you would be, I believe, an ambassador of the program, and she had been an ambassador of their program for about 3 months. And she entered this giveaway and rightfully won. Her name was pulled on stream and then was met with ridicule by the CEO of the company, and they essentially made her feel unworthy of the PC and that the ambassadorship program was not worth the effort, and therefore she called them out on Twitter. And that was met with a half-assed apology, which we again covered on last week's video, and the hits just sort of keep on coming. So what I'm talking about here is that essentially after the apology, there were a couple of tweets and a couple of videos that showcase the fact that Artesian Builds is actually in a bit more trouble than just not honoring their giveaway policy, that they are in legal troubles with the state of California, where they're based out of, I believe. And so, of course, a few news places pick this up and they are suspended. So, in a post on Twitter, the company explained that there is currently an ongoing analysis to reorganize the company so that they can ensure clients, creditors, and employees are all treated fairly. Artesian's post also notes the company would be open to any outside assistance or investors who are interested in coming on board. Frankly, after the way that they treated their ambassadors and their people, they really won't have many people who would stand up for them, in my opinion. But moving on. So, because of the fallout, people were sponsored by them or part of the ambassadorship program spoke out about it. Nick Merckx, we talked about in last week's video. Esports org OTK also severed ties with the company, and Christopher Yee also claimed that the company's builds has been throttling streamers' computers. So, this actually is a bigger deal because on March 6th, the company then said they were examining potential employee-led buyout of the company. So people within the company were looking to keep the company afloat and obviously keep their jobs because, again, while one or two people may be absolute scummy, does not mean that everything should be thrown by the wayside, because there's usually a lot more good people in a company than there are bad. Now, from that, Game Industry Biz also picked this up, and as of March 10th, said that last week streamer Kiapiaa entered a competition to win a free PC provided the company, which was sponsored by Intel. Now, of course, it does cover a bit of what happened after the fallout, but then continued on from Intel's side, where they released a statement regarding Artesian's actions saying, "We strive towards welcoming streamers of all sizes to our programs and do not agree with the recent negative comments directed towards small streamers. We are reaching out to relevant parties to address the situation." Now, because of that, and because of the legal backlash and just the general gamer backlash on Twitter, brought everything to the focal point, which is that they released a statement on Twitter on March 9th saying, "We are sad to announce that effective now, we are freezing, suspending all activities. Ongoing is analysis by outside counsel for reorganization to ensure fair treatment of clients, creditors, and employees. We expect more info by month's end." So essentially, they screwed themselves. And by making such a ridiculous comment live on stream, kind of brought them to light, which then showcased that, hey, they've been doing some shady things legally and actually owe a lot of money. And there are a few YouTube videos on that that I can link if you would like. But it sort of continues because, as I said, just because there are some really bad apples, especially if there are people at the top, it means that the people underneath will suffer. So I came across this tweet, which was also on March 9th, where people like J16 got laid off at 11:14 p.m. Eastern last night with no warning. Work emails disabled, contact emails disabled, literally frozen out, doors shut, contact bank for chargeback if they had things going on. I also came across a couple of tweets from people who did actually have giveaways of like Artesian build computers that they still needed to fulfill. I know that one of them had at least 12 PCs that they were supposed to give to people that won, and now they also will have to break their agreements because obviously if Artesian is shutting its doors because they have to legally or otherwise, means that the streamer and the people who entered those giveaways are now not going to be able to get anything because, generally speaking, the streamers who are doing this don't have thousands of dollars to put together 12 PCs that would be high end, because that's what Artesian Builds was supposed to be catered to, was high end PCs. Now, as we covered in last week's video, we saw that people like Jay's 2 Cents stepped up and said, "Hey, forget those guys. I'm going to send you a PC." And he did actually release a video that you can go take a look at where he shows exactly what he got. He talked to some people, and a lot of people banded together wanting to help Kiapiaa actually get a really freaking good PC. And you can not only see what components are in that PC, but you can actually see Jay's 2 Cents putting it together in this really cool sort of montage. And he shipped it to Texas to the streamer, and other people reached out to give her a PC as well, or peripherals or whatnot. She has boosted her subscriber count immensely, or her follower count immensely, because of, the whole situation, because no one should push small streamers down, especially this woman who has actually a really good personality, and frankly, I find it's awesome. So definitely do not, be negative or anything like that. Go give her some love if you would like. She actually seems like a fantastic individual, and I wish I had, known about her sooner. And I wish it was, maybe under some good circumstances, not the product of like a situation gone wrong, but find people organically, which is not something that Twitch is necessarily great at, but that's a story for another day. Anyways, there is only one more thing that I would like to say. and that is that Barnacle, who used to work for Microsoft and did work on Windows 10, he tweeted about the situation as well. Clearly, he was going to talk about it on his stream, and right as he went live, the CEO of Artesian Builds actually deleted their Twitter account. So obviously, they realize they screwed up hard, that they have sunk themselves into the ground, and that no one is going to give them the time of day anymore because of their actions. So it just goes to show you that even if you're upset about something, even if you have an opinion about something, be careful what you say and how you say it, more importantly, because an apology is only as good as the actions that back up the apology. So be careful what you say out there. Be careful what you're reading out there. Make sure you corroborate the information that's given. It's important. People need to realize that just because you read one article does not mean that that is fact. Everybody spins things differently, and you want to get at the truth. That's what the whole point is supposed to be. And even anything that I post, there's a reason that I post the sources so that you can go take a look at them and the links that they may include in them. And sometimes in these videos, I include other links for reference if you're interested, like extra YouTube videos that talk about the situation, that provide more proof of whatever is being discussed at the time. I'm not expecting people to just believe something that I have said or something someone else has said. What it means is go take a look at the information out there and really consider it before you start talking about it. And in this case, he shot his mouth off live on stream without thinking about the consequences, and now it has screwed over not only himself, but has screwed over all of the employees that probably didn't deserve the treatment and probably didn't know about the situation either. So keep that in mind before you start raising pitchforks in any situation. Just be cautious. Take a look around at what's being said before you start talking. Now, with that, we are going to move on to the next topic, which is Twitch. And Twitch has a lot of different things. I could have talked a little bit about Dr. Disrespect in that he concluded his legal proceedings with Twitch and posted about it on Twitter, saying that that is done and he no longer has to deal with it. And when I'm talking about misinformation and assumptions that people make, there were a ton of different YouTube channels that immediately latched on to that one post saying that he was magically unbanned and that maybe he would come back to Twitch and this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, first of all, what's his incentive, right? If he believes that Twitch screwed him for whatever reason, because we're not even sure what the actual thing was that took him off of Twitch entirely, but even not knowing that, the fact that they did such a permanent thing, why would he come back to the platform? Like that should be your first question. And if the answer to that question for you is, well, money, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure there are other places than Twitch that will pay you more. There's a reason why Dr. Lupo and Ninja and a bunch of people jumped ship from Twitch. It's not because of anything particular about having to rebuild their communities and whatnot, but money is definitely not going to be a motivator when there are other platforms out there that could potentially pay more or have better discoverability or not lock you into only making content on Twitch, because if you're partnered with Twitch, you have to make sure that whatever you're providing as content on the platform is exclusive to Twitch. This is one of the terms from my understanding as for that. And my understanding of that is because I'm an affiliate streamer and I can only stream certain things on Twitch And if I go to post any of that content, I have to wait a full 24 hours before I put anything else out there. So keep in mind that Dr. Disrespect's reasoning for potentially not coming back to Twitch is due to a number of different reasons. You can't diversify your income as well if you are a partnered streamer on Twitch. They lock you into the system, which is fine. That's how they do business. That's something that you have to realize when you read that initial contract, right? So there were a bunch of people talking about how he can come back to Twitch and blah, 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 and it means he's unbanned. There's also nothing to suggest that he was actually unbanned off of Twitch. So, again, spreading misinformation based on one tweet, one statement that had nothing to do with, hey, I'm coming back to Twitch. It just said he resolved his legal issue with Twitch and that neither of them took fault for the situation. That's it. If you want to go look up the tweet, you can. I have his account muted on Twitter so I don't go and look at things unless I absolutely need to. And in this case, I did go and look that up. But Twitch has a couple of other things going on this week. So some of us are in Discords and follow certain things where we see the streamer bans that happen across Twitch. And yesterday, March 10th, there was a massive wave of bans going on. And Zach Bussey talks about it on his Twitter, saying that the mass of streamers being banned right now has to do with tax avoidance in the Middle East. So this is kind of an interesting and big deal because if you remember that the massive Twitch leak that happened actually suggested and pointed that Twitch was being used in some kind of interesting money laundering scheme. And I actually wonder if this is maybe kind of an extension of that, and if this is something that sort of came about when we discovered that information. However, Zach Busey goes on to say late last month, the Middle Eastern streamers noticed that many of them had not been paid due to discrepancies in their tax forms. Apparently, many were using services that helped them avoid the 30% tax as a nation without a tax treaty with the US, which is kind of important because not every country has tax treaties with the US. Canada does have a tax treaty with the US, therefore, the information is obviously shared, and we do still pay taxes on the income that we make from Twitch. Now, he links to this IGN article, which is the IGN but the Middle East section, and I've highlighted a couple of things here where, according to a number of Middle East streamers this week, Twitch has stopped issuing payouts to streamers in the region. Several Twitch streamers took to Twitter with screenshots of their account payouts being blocked by Twitch due to a discrepancy with certain tax information. So as you can see, this person had actually pretty good revenue and a ton of hours streamed and should be obviously paid. This seems like it would be a main stream of income for them. And Twitch obviously sent a report saying you've been blocked from receiving your payout. That's a significant amount of money for the average person if you're not working a full-time job. That I'm not sure what that translates to in the Middle East in terms of like, is that more than what you would get paid at a job? Is that less? Is this sort of like a supplement to your income? I'm very curious to know sort of how much of a difference that would be financially. But it's still a decent sum of money if you look at it in terms of Canadian or US dollars. So According to this article, at the moment it is unclear whether Twitch is stopping payments to only MENA Twitch streamers who have incorrect tax information in their account, or if it applies to all streamers in the region. Many Middle East streamers have commented that Twitch is a valuable source of income for themselves, and this move was done without any prior warning or chance to correct the tax information beforehand. Now, I kind of have to question that because every couple of years you're required by Twitch as an affiliate streamer to update your tax information. You could have moved, you could have changed bank accounts, you could have a different way that you would like to be paid if it's through something like PayPal or if you want it directly to your bank account. You know, you may have changed like a couple of things in your financials that would require you to update that information. And Twitch sends you notices saying you must update your tax information in order for them to be able to give you money and in order for you to receive your payouts moving forward. Otherwise, they terminate your status, right? So I'm kind of wondering how many of these people maybe hadn't got to the amount of time where you would have to update your tax information, because when you become affiliate, you do fill out the information and it does sort of an auto verification of some kind to make sure that all of the information you've submitted is the same. However, if they're saying that they had no prior warning or chance to correct the tax information, I'm now wondering how long some of these streamers have been in a business relationship with Twitch where they receive payouts. So they're at least affiliate, if not partnered streamers. And if you haven't had the opportunity to correct your tax information, that means you've been affiliate or partnered with the platform for less than 3 to 4 years. I forget if it's 3 years or 4 years that you would receive these emails. And if they didn't receive these emails because of the tax status and the treaties between the US and the Middle East, it makes me wonder a lot of different things about this. I wonder if the warnings were there, but maybe you changed your email address and you no longer have that information, which is another problem entirely that, you know, if you're not connected to the right email and you're still streaming to the platform and receiving money, that's a problem in and of itself. But I feel like there should have been some kind of warning. Now, I don't know if the problem here falls on Twitch, if the problem here falls on the Middle East in general, because they do things differently. They obviously have slightly different laws and treaties, you know, and so it makes me wonder more about this situation, and wondering if maybe that was kind of a fib, you know, a lie that, oh, we didn't know that this was a thing. But who knows? Like you know, I can't speak for these people, but it does make me wonder about the situation. Now, Dot Esports also covered this. So if the IGN article from the Middle East is not something you're familiar with necessarily, then Dot Esports, which is based in North America, also covered this. And in here, they said at the start of February 19th, streamers from the MENA region experienced sudden mass payout blocks. The streaming platform sent out emails citing tax issues as the reason for their payouts being withheld. Twitch faced immense backlash as countless streamers said they received payout freezes despite using the same tax information for years. So obviously, it references Zach Bussey talking about this on his stream and on Twitter, and there is a Twitch VOD you can go take a look at from March 10th where he does talk about the Dr. Disrespect situation and then talks about this situation. But this article follows up by saying Twitch has yet to publish an official response regarding the situation. The streaming giant is notoriously hesitant to address any major controversy on its main social network channels, so it may be unlikely that Twitch directly shares any information with the public. Twitch has primarily communicated this situation through emails directly to affected users, which in a sense makes sense because it doesn't necessarily concern people if you don't live in the countries that are being affected by it. But also, I hope that they're not just massively suspending all of the payouts to all Middle Eastern people, because I'm sure there are lots of people who are law abiding citizens, or maybe they aren't aware of the situation, and maybe the article, the IGN article, was accurate. So this spawns a lot of questions for me, and I hope that the people who are negatively affected that aren't interested in withholding tax money from their governments are going to update their information and resolve this quickly, because if this is one of their main sources of income, that's a huge hit, not being able to get that money if you have families, if you have other people that rely on you for assistance. That's a huge deal, and this is why certain people are less inclined to put all of their eggs in one basket by simply streaming to Twitch. Many of us turn to things like Patreon and merchandise stores and other full-time jobs in order to make sure that even though Twitch can pay you significantly, they can also just take the rug out from under you, and if you don't have anything else to fall back on, you put yourself in a financially dire situation. And I'm hoping that this gets resolved quickly and that Twitch actually does something about this and that they communicate with the streamers who were affected, and hopefully not all of them are shady. I'm sure there are bad apples, absolutely, but again, there's also going to be a lot of genuine good people that still deserve to get their money, and I don't feel that it's fair that Twitch should blanketly target just all Middle Eastern streamers by banning 200 people at once. Now, obviously, there's going to be more than 200 people in the Middle East streaming to Twitch, but still, it makes me concerned for a lot of different people. And I hope that this situation rectifies soon. But we'll have to wait and see. Either way, thank you so much for following the Patreon. As always, make sure to check out everything on Twitch, on Twitter, on Instagram, and here on Patreon. Don't forget to join the Discord. And with that, thanks so much for your patronage. You guys are fantastic, and let me know if there are any other topics you would like me to cover. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.